Hey guys, thanks for joining me for week 5 of the AIAS 7-7 campaign. I'm less than 3 weeks out now from beginning my back-to-back 7-division run of the ARE. As always, I want to remind you that this campaign is in support of the AIAS Professional Advancement Support Scholarship, AIAS.org/pass. Please go donate now or I will be too stressed out to study and will fail all my exams, and you really don't want that on your conscience. So let's jump into some of the materials. I mentioned briefly last week a blog called Young Architect by Mike Rosica. He has the ultimate list of ARE study materials. That is a fantastic place to start once you've gotten through the NCARB guidelines to figure out what's out there generally and per specific divisions. He's also just released a new ebook called Passing the ARE. I think it's $25, absolutely worth the read. Definitely a good place to start. The next one up is Architect Exam Prep. This is actually the one that I've been using the most. They currently produce materials for 6 out of the 7 divisions, with SD launching later this week. Those packages are $100 a piece and are called the Whole Enchilada. They are aptly named. These packages include not only extensive study guides for each of the divisions, but also flashcard sets, hours and hours of video. But the two things that really jumped out at me, they have audio companions for each of their study guide, basically a narrated version of their study guide. So you can either listen to those while you read to really reinforce and make sure you're retaining that content, or listen while you're driving, or while you're working out, or while you're in studio, or while you're sleeping. That's actually a good idea, I should do that. These audio companions they're the only ones I've seen that are doing it, and it's a great resource if that's a way that you like to learn. The other big thing from them, they have something called the Online Multiple Choice Exam Simulator, or OMSIS, a slightly superfluous acronym, but they're basically practice exams that are built to look and work just like the real ARE. You can either take the same number of questions that are on the ARE, say 85 questions at a time, and they have 4 or 5 practice question banks, or you can take all of the questions at once, so you end up taking something like 250 to 300 questions in one sitting. This is how I've been doing it. I've just been drilling those comprehensive total package practice sets. Not only do I make sure that I'm getting all of the material covered and not skipping anything, but it also means that by the time I actually go take the ARE and I've only got 85 questions to answer when I'm used to taking 300, it's going to seem a lot easier. It's going to seem less daunting to sit down and knock out 85 questions in a sitting. And I need to study the way I'm going to test, so using something that works just like the real ARE is my favorite way to study. The next one I want to talk about is Black Spectacles. Our good friend Mark Tier teamed up with an old professor of mine, Mike Newman, from AIAS Chicago, and has been developing an ARE prep series of videos. So if you like to have a video on in the background while you're working in studio and learn that way, they are fantastic. They cover all 7 divisions, hours of content for each section. You can really pick and choose what topic areas you know you need to study more. And Mike actually has, I know this from firsthand experience, has a knack for delivering content that might otherwise be very dry and boring in a way that's very engaging and retainable. It's actually very interesting to listen to him speak, and he puts it in very common language that you can understand, so you're more likely to actually remember what he's talking about. We have a little bit more from Black Spectacles next week when we're down at AIA Convention. We'll see Mike and Mark both down there, and we'll talk to them a little bit about that. The next one up would be NALSA Publishing. The first thing that jumped out at me from them is an app called ArchiFlash. It is an iPhone app. It is flashcards covering all 7 divisions of the ARE, very comprehensive, but they also offer a desktop version of ArchiFlash, a book on the vignettes, a study guide for the vignettes called Solutions, as well as ARE Evaluation, which allows you to submit your responses to the vignettes, and they will actually grade them. That's not something I've seen anyone else do. They have video courses and blogs and all kinds of other resources out there. But one of my favorite things about NALSA is that you can actually call them in the office and ask them questions on either the content of the exams or just on the process in general, and you can get real-time, one-on-one feedback, get your questions answered, and they love doing it. It's this kind of one-on-one mentorship relationship to help you get through the exams. Next one up is Prep ARE Inc. They do video courses and practice questions in building systems, construction documents and services, and structural systems, and also have practice questions in BDCS and PPP, led by some really big names in test prep, some you've probably heard of, decades of experience under their belts, really great stuff. ARE Advisor, I've frankly not used a whole lot, but they do study guides for the multiple choice and vignettes. They have practice exams, they have flashcards, much of the same type of content that everybody else is doing. They do seem to promote Ballast pretty heavily, so if you're already using Ballast, that might be a great pairing. And if you haven't already gotten the Ballast materials, they offer a 10% discount if you go through their site. Some others, Study Blue is another flashcard app. It's only about 36 bucks. You can think of this as the wiki of flashcards. It's user-generated content, which can be good if it's good content, but you have to take it with a bit of a grain of salt, because there may be stuff in there that's just not totally accurate or copied wrong or something. Another would be ARE Endurance. This is a blog more commonly known as Jenny's Notes, following Jenny's progress through all 7 divisions of the ARE, not unlike what I'm doing now. She has some great content throughout those blogs and a lot of answers to very common questions that were posted in the comments. So look through that. The last one I want to mention is YouTube. YouTube is, contrary to popular belief, valuable for more than just cat videos and bad liberty.
Listen, son, I give you 4 cents each for them vanilla wafers.
You can eat sand, young man. I mean, this guy's really ridiculous. Ow!
Uh-oh.
If you do a search for the tags ARE, Architect Registration Exam, things like that, you can find a ton of free content out there. So if you're just getting started and don't want to drop the coin yet to invest in some of these resources, or just want something to supplement or on a specific topic, search YouTube. Black Spectacles has a bunch of free stuff on there. NCARB obviously has their stuff on there. YouTube can be a great resource, and it's free. That's a great way to go. So bottom line is, figure out how you study best. Some people can read a study guide cover to cover and retain all of that. And if you have the time to commit to that type of studying, then by all means, that is going to be the most comprehensive way to learn everything. But for me personally, based on the fact that I'm studying for all 7 and the time constraints that I'm under, I really wanted to practice with the practice exams. I wanted to take the multiple choice questions and learn the way I would be tested. Really figure out what works best for you and stick with that. There is no silver bullet and no one can tell you what's going to work best for you, so you kind of have to figure it out on your own. So check out all these resources I've talked about. I'll give some more specifics down on the blog. One last tip I want to give that I'm shamelessly stealing from Mike Newman. The best way to study for the exams is to take the exams. Take $210, just pretend you're burning it, pick a division that you feel reasonably confident in, and just go schedule an exam. Don't study for it, just schedule it, go take it. Expect that you're going to fail. Just walk into it and think of it as a practice run. The worst case scenario is you fail. Yeah, no big deal. But at that point, you'll know what to expect when you go in for real. If you walk into the Prometric Test Center for the first time, it can be a little jarring when you're thinking about the exam to walk in there and get your fingerprints scanned, and get your pockets turned out, and get frisked and all this kind of stuff. That can really throw you off. So just taking the exam for the first time is a great way to know what you're getting into when you go and take it for real. And the best case scenario is you pass a division without studying at all. How great would that be? If it's something you think you know really well, there's a good chance you could just pass it without studying a bit. Either way, it's really about just committing and making a plan and getting started. And that's what I've been saying all along. Just break the seal. Just get started. Get past that zero barrier and get moving. Next week we will be down at AIA Convention in Atlanta. We will be on the expo floor. The AIAS and Center for Emerging Professionals from the AIA have a booth on the expo floor, so come see us. Next week I'll be talking about a lot of the AIA resources, classes that they offer, materials they provide, different ways to use that membership to your advantage. And also, because I will be at a convention, I'll be talking a little bit about time management and how to fit studying into your insanely busy schedule. So thank you again for watching. This has been week 5 of the 7-in-7 campaign. 3 weeks out now from my 7-in-7 challenge. Please wish me luck and tune in next week. Thanks, guys.
Hey, let's dance to music. That's my jam, Holmes.